Welcome back to Meet Us in the Trenches. We have our first guest sitting here with us, Mr. Michael K. Jackson. Welcome to the show.
Welcome.
We're excited to have you.
Thank you.
So tell us about your background. How did you get here? Where'd you come from?
So that's a wide open question, and I'm known to be long-winded, so I'll try to keep it as concise as possible. So, born and raised in the Caribbean. I heard y'all talking earlier about trips to Curacao. I'm born in Antigua and raised in St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands, so 100% island guy right now. But I've been in Maryland. My family and I have been in Maryland since probably 2008. So I've been here a minute, and I'm sure we'll get into all of what brought me here. But yes.
Awesome. From
Okay.
the island. I love
Yeah.
it. I just had some callaloo.
Oh, you
Some
did?
Stewed chicken
Okay,
for dinner
okay,
before I
okay.
came here. My family's from Trinidad.
Oh, there you go. You're Trini. Okay. All right. I feel at home now.
Right.
I've been to St. Thomas once.
Yeah, we went to St. Thomas together.
Once, years ago. I got to get back there.
Yeah.
You liked it?
I loved it. It was beautiful, but I was really young, so I want to go back now.
You have to go
That's
back.
interesting, because when I was there, that was when things were going on with Michael Jackson, actual Michael
Yeah.
Jackson.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
The
that
other
was the
Michael
last
Jackson.
time I was
The
there.
other Michael
The other
Jackson.
Michael.
Not you.
So tell us about the power of a plan. What led you to in the motivational mental health speaking?
Absolutely. So the power of a plan. Plan is an acronym. It's really a four-step process to help you build resilience, block burnout, and boost your well-being. So the four steps, I'll go through them quickly, and I know we can talk more in detail about each step. But step number one is P for practice prayer and meditation. Step number two is L for lean in and listen. Step number three is A for act accordingly. And step number four, last but not least, is N for notate or notate your mind state, which is really all about the practice of journaling.
I'm interested in knowing, do you think your plan translates to young adults, teens, and children?
Absolutely. Although, that's not necessarily my target market, but each step in that plan, right, is applicable to not only adults, but teens, young people. I'm a father of 4 daughters, and a couple of them are sitting right over there. 8 and 12 are the young ones. And it definitely applies because, in terms of prayer and meditation, right, for me, the way I grew up, my parents, particularly my mother and grandmother, kind of created the foundation of prayer in our family, and that kind of set the tone for how we deal with stress and how we deal with issues in life. Journaling. I used to not journal. I started journaling maybe about 20 years ago in my adult life, because I used to equate that with, no offense, teenage girls actually writing in a diary. But, the science shows the benefits of journaling. Much like prayer and meditation, it kind of lowers your stress levels, boosts your immune system, and just really all around helps you reduce your stress. So all of these elements in this plan, resilience building framework, as I call it, can help not only adults, but also young people as well.
So yeah, I definitely agree with journaling. I don't know how many journals I bought my mother and my aunt over there, and if they actually use it, but it definitely helps me with mental health and like getting things off my chest, just talking to God, journalism. So I love that you promote that with your plan.
I agree. No offense taken at all. I used to write in my diary as a younger, girl, but now I feel like I don't do as much journaling. She does motivate me to journal. She does, try to tell me to, but at times I'm very busy with work and everything, so I don't. But the fact that you say like it really does help, and you said it boosts the immune system.
Right.
Now, I didn't even think about that. Now, that's motivating me to do it even more. So can you tell us a little bit about your background? Like what got you started? Like what motivated you to get into what you do?
Sure. Well, the genesis of of me, creating my professional speaking business and resilience training business was really a traumatic experience I had a few years ago. You all might remember 2017 was a bad hurricane year. In fact, a couple of days ago, hurricane season, the Atlantic hurricane season just started. But in September of 2017, the U.S. Virgin, well, the entire Caribbean was struck by particularly two strong Category 5 hurricanes. One was Irma and the other one was Maria. Both storms did a lot of damage to the U.S. Virgin Islands in particular. And to make a long story short, I lost my dad in the midst of Hurricane Maria. And it was during that process of actually leading numerous teams from my church here in Maryland to go down to the islands that actually help people rebuild their homes and rebuild their lives. That process caused me to actually reflect back on my own life and my own adversities that I had faced up until that point, which include, 2 corporate layoffs, starting a fitness business and losing it, marriage, a failed marriage, bankruptcy. So, it took me back to a time in life where, as we say at home, everything crashed. Everything was busted, right? Everything crashed, But it was during that time where I was actually helping people rebuild their physical homes, their lives, that I reflected back and came up with this plan, a resilience building framework, because at the time they were talking about, the emergency responders were talking about helping people, quote unquote, build back stronger. And it was really all about fortifying the physical infrastructure to make physical infrastructure more resilient to be able to withstand those types of hurricanes in the future. And I made the connection to my own life in terms of helping people build their emotional resilience. And that's how, kind of plan came about. It encouraged me to actually start this business where I focus on helping leaders and teams, particularly purpose-driven leaders, to build resilience, block burnout, and boost their well-being through this plan.
So making adversity your advisor, not your adversary.
Yes, sir.
That's nice, man.
Yes,
What does that mean?
That's all. It's all about mindset. That really corresponds to the L in plan. Step 2: lean in and listen for the lesson. There's a lesson buried inside of every form of adversity we face. I call these forms of adversity chops, or karate chops, if you will. Challenges, hardships, obstacles, pressure, and stress. And if you make adversity your advisor, not your adversary, it's really about embracing that adversity, embracing the stress that you feel, and knowing that you can learn from it. Because you can either allow it to build you up and teach you something, right? Have that growth mindset, or that what I refer to as a build back stronger mindset, or have it deplete you. So it's really all about that growth mindset.
My condolences to you. I actually lived in Coney Island at a point in time when we had a horrible hurricane as well, Hurricane Sandy. So it was very tough seeing everything happen. I was actually there. Like, I didn't evacuate on that one, so I got to see everything happen as it came, so I understand.
So you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. But I do want to say, we work and deal with a lot of children today as teachers and coaches. What are some tips you can, tell some of the youth? Like, what are some tips and advice you can give to the youth?
Like I said earlier, this plan resilience building framework, stick to the plan. I like that. I gotta use that. Stick to the plan. Young people, our youth can absolutely use all the elements of plan, right? Because listen, I don't have to tell you all about all the things that our youth of today are actually dealing with. I think you and I are more similar in age, and we didn't have to deal with all of this social media stuff, back when we were growing up. It's a lot. It's a lot. So it's really about sticking to the plan, right? And particularly foundationally, that prayer piece, that meditation piece. You know, I'm a man of faith, and not everybody might be, but using words of affirmation to really, and particularly for us as, you know, I don't know if all of you are parents, but even if you might be a coach, you might be an educator, you come into contact with young people, build them up with that prayer and meditation, build them up with those words of affirmation. It makes, you know, all the difference. And it's really about leading by example in that area. If they see you doing that, if they see you sticking to the plan, it will encourage them to do the same. You know, I could go on about that, but I'll pause there for a second.
Definitely sticking to the plan. I'm an educator, so, you know, in the school system, we're not really allowed to talk about God, but I do keep scriptures on my desk, and the kids will come up like, oh, Miss Green, what does that say? And I'm like, you can read it for yourself. Like, if you need help understanding, then I'll help you. So I definitely agree with that, being a good example for the youth and, you know, sticking to the plan. So.
Can I add one thing to that, too?
Of course.
In terms of, you know, in today's world, we hear a lot about vulnerability and being vulnerable. But as educators, you know, as parents, as coaches, as mentors, it's important, it's imperative for us to be vulnerable with these young people too, to show them that, you know, because you know, they can spot a fake a mile away, right? You can't fake the funk. So it's about really being open and vulnerable and showing them that it's okay. For example, I don't know about you, brother, but it's important to show that it's okay for a man to cry. You know what I mean? So I'll leave it there, but, you know, it's critically important.
One last question. This is a real serious question, too. You know, Michael Jackson.
Yes, sir. Michael K. Jackson.
How did that work for you growing up? And like, did you used to moonwalk and all that? Like, how does it work? And I know you had to make the K, put the K in there, but how did that work, man? Like,
How many times do people comment on you having the same name as the King of Pop? Like,
you know, I've made adversity my advisor, not my adversary, in that instance, okay? Because
nice.
So I get that all the time. I embrace it. I tell folks all the time, you know, it's like I meet Michael Jacksons all the time. In fact, I was just at a conference a few months ago where there was another Michael K. Jackson. His K was different than mine, but, you know, so I embrace it. It's all in good fun. And I always say, too, that I have an aunt named Janet, a cousin, a good friend.
Please don't tell me Tito.
a cousin named Marlon. So it's all good. I do.
Just don't say Tito. We be like, whoa, wait. But
there you go.
oh, Randy, yeah. We're glad to have you on,
Appreciate
Mr.
you,
Jackson. We appreciate you, and you know, good luck in your endeavors, man.
Thank you, sir.
It's great to have you
Appreciate
on.
y'all. It's
and
great
tell
being here.
everybody in the audience and everybody who's tuning in, tell them where they can follow you.
Sure. Easiest way to find me is on my website, michaelkjackson.com. You can link to all of my socials, MKJacksonINTL on Instagram, and Michael K. Jackson on LinkedIn. But just go to my website. You can click on the links from there. Easiest way.
And not the Never Never Land. He won't be there.
And before I exit stage left, I just have to big up my guy, TJ, for the invitation. Love you, brother.
Now, when you say exit stage left, you gonna moonwalk?
No.
I'm just messing with you. I'm just messing with you.
Maybe if I had the glove, I would moonwalk, but I left the glove at home.
It was a pleasure having you. Thank you
Thank
for
y'all
everything.
so much.
Yeah, thank you. We'll be
Such
back.
a motivation.
We'll be back with part 3. Coming right back.